I'm just going to talk about my experience choosing myself and choosing to separate from my wife of 9 years. And we have two daughters together, 5-year old and a soon to be 1-year old. And I want to focus on from the time that we agreed to separate till now, which was 6 days, a little less than a week. So last Saturday, I told her I want to move on. She told me the same. We agreed, and it seemed very good. It seemed amicable. We were both on the same page. There were no hard feelings. But then the next day, she couldn't handle the being friendly. And so she said, I can't do it. It hurts too much. I need to go no contact. So I said, fine. And we went no contact. I only responded if she asked me a question, and other than that, I didn't talk to her. I didn't even look at her. And then by Wednesday, she comes up to me and hugs me. And I'm open to it because I'm open to being friends. So I hugged and she wanted to talk. And she said, I want to try to make this work. Not for me, not for you, but for our girls, for our kids. So we're talking about it, and she's like, I want to try to understand. I think this whole thing came about because when we got married, I was a pushover. I was a nice guy. I let her get away with everything. I did everything for her. I would always apologize. I would always mend things. And once we had our first daughter and I became a father, I saw the flaws in, in acting that way. So I started to change. I started to push back. I started to grow a backbone, and that obviously upset her, and we would have very bad fights during those years when I started doing that. But yeah, it was like three, 3.5, 4 years of that until we got into like a good place. And I was really happy. And I was like, wow, we're making it. And we might have, we, we're good. We're good forever. And so I felt comfortable having a second child because also our first was born at the height of COVID. And so I put a lot of our issues on that and her postpartum depression versus No, she was actually just a problematic person before we even had kids. But I was also problematic. I would get sucked into all of her fights and I would fight back, and then that would make me the bad guy for fighting back, and then I would have to apologize. It would never be about her initial behavior or whatever started the fights. It was always about how I would get involved, and because I'm a man and I'm stronger, I never hit her. I never did anything like that. But there was an occasion or a few occasions where I would throw things, not hard things. There was one time I just threw it's like little like balls of water. I don't know what they were, but like slime or something. um, and there was a time that I punched the wall, um, just out of pure frustration. So I put a lot of the blame on myself for those things. So that's why once we got into like a good place in 2020, end of 2023, 2024, I decided we could have another, and she got pregnant. And that was actually a really good year. And then our second was born, and we had a few struggles, but the first few months were good. But we had help. We had her mom's help. Then her mom left, and then things started to fall apart. I've been trying to build my own career. I used to work a high-paying job at Amazon, and during the return to office and everything, I left to go on my own, and I've been struggling to figure out. I'm not a business person. It takes time. It takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day. So yeah, I've been getting a lot of pressure from her to make money, and not in like a supportive way, in like a very nasty way. That's always been the case. She'll say, "Oh, I support you. I want what's best for you." But she'll say that after being very mean and nasty, calling me names, and being very argumentative and aggressive. So in May, I started to really push back on her shit, and I was winning for a while. I was, you know, getting her to apologize. But we were just fighting a lot. But I was holding the line. I was standing tall. I wasn't getting involved in the fights. I was like, you do your thing and fight and scream and cry and whatever. Have your tantrum. And I'm just going to sit over here and wait. So I was doing that for about a month. And then I was just like, I can't keep doing this. This is like, you know, whenever that would happen, she would like have those tantrums, and then she would just stay in the bedroom and not help. So I'm raising our two kids, I'm making dinner, I'm working, I'm doing all of this while she's just laying in bed moping. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not how it's gonna be. Um, so I'm like, yeah, I think if it's gonna be this way, either yeah, if it's gonna be this way, we're gonna divorce. Or we can stay here, but you really need to change your ways, get your license, all of that. Or we move to Peru where you have your support system that can help you, and that'll give me the freedom to focus on my career because you want me to make money, you want me to do all these things, but you're not helping me. You're not supporting me. You're just moping around, throwing tantrums, and then getting mad that I'm not making a bunch of money. Uh, Forgive me. I don't often tell my stories, so I'm practicing. So yeah, that was in May, and then like a week after that, that we are like, okay, like we're either gonna separate or move or whatever. We've come to that agreement. She broke her foot, and then things really got difficult. Her mom came here. I had to blow up again because of just poor behavior on her part. You know, I'm supporting her, I'm doing all these things while her foot's broken, and she's getting mad at me because I'm not doing it the way she wanted. And then I couldn't even talk to her because she's like, shh, my mom's here. You can't talk. And I'm like, no, if we can't talk about our problems in my own home, that's not going to work. Like, tell your mom to leave so we can talk. So I got her mom involved. I said, we're done. And a day after that, or two, I don't know how long, she's like, hey, you know, let's figure this out. Let's work together. And I bought it. I said, yeah, okay, sure. So things were rough after that. So that was like June something. So then from June, July, August, and then to where we are now, things just were not the same. I mean, they were never good, I guess, but it just wasn't working. And I already had made my mind up back in May that things needed to change. We needed to be done. But because of her foot, I felt it was right to postpone that, just try to support her. But her foot's better, and yeah, more of the same. More of her moping around, laying in bed. You know, there's a difference, right? I know what she's capable of because I see it, and I can tell that she's just moping. She's being lazy, and she's giving me attitudes. So, yeah, I kind of got like sidetracked there. All of that to say, okay, so Saturday we agreed to split. Wednesday she wanted to get back, and I was almost buying it. But then I'm like, you know, let's take it slow. Let me think about this. Because we were talking, she's trying to understand me. And I'm like, hey, you know, just be curious. You know, I'm changing. I've changed so that I can deal with your shit. I had to build a backbone. I've had to become a new person so that I could survive in this marriage. But you don't like this new person because I'm not that little guy you can boss around anymore. and I've become more conservative and things like that. So yeah, she was like trying, I guess. I mean, I give her a little bit of credit. She was seemed like she was trying to understand me better, but it was too little, too late. She missed that opportunity. The boat has sailed. We've been married 9 years. Where was that 9 years ago? Respect, showing me respect for my opinions, my beliefs. God forbid I believe something different than you. It doesn't need to be a fight. You can just talk to me. So, yeah, the nail in the coffin was we were texting that next morning, so Thursday morning. And she's like, hey, these are my non negotiables for this marriage to work. And I read over them. I'm like, okay, it's reasonable. I didn't push back on any of them. And she's like, okay, you send me your non negotiables. So I did. I said, one, respect, and two, I want to feel attracted to my wife. And that means physical attraction, mental attraction, spiritual attraction, physical attraction. Don't let yourself go. You put on a ton of weight. Um, and yeah, is it misogynistic that I want to be physically attracted to my wife? It's not a deal breaker. Like I said, there's other ways to be attracted. So there's mental attraction. Can we have open dialogue? Can we share ideas with each other without hostility? No. Okay, so there's no mental attraction. What about spiritual attraction? Are you a positive person? Do you have faith? Do you see the glass half full or half empty? No. She's just negative, negative. Oh, it's too hot. Oh, I hate what I'm wearing. Oh, my makeup looks terrible. Always complaining, always negative. So, no spiritual attraction, no mental attraction, no physical attraction. I need at least one of those things. Okay, if I'm not attracted to my wife and she's not even respectful, why am I here? And so she said I was misogynistic for that. And I'm like, okay. Uh, so I was driving her to work this morning. She's like, is there anything else you want to talk about based on what we were texting? I'm like, yeah, I've thought about it and I'm ready to move on. So I still stand by what I said. I will support her as a co parent. She is the mother of my children. I can't just abandon her. But I can no longer be her romantic partner. I can't get emotionally invested in her chaos. Okay, I'm choosing peace. I will build a life of peace for my children, and I will support her in whatever she needs to be her best self, to be the best mother she can be for our children, but just as a mother. And I feel at peace. I'm happy. So that's my story. Um, there's plenty more to talk about. I'm not, like I said, I don't tell stories often, so I need to really work on that. But yeah, there are so many stories about our marriage that, yeah, I think's worth sharing, and maybe it'll help someone else in a marriage or wanting to be married. That's all. Um, all right.